Hi, it is time for the Daily Devo. Here we go. All right, what are we talking about today? How you speak to yourself matters. Yeah, it really does. Why? Because you matter. You do. I don't care what you think. I don't care what anybody else has said to you or how they behave. You matter. And you need to know that. But you also need to know that how you speak to yourself, it matters, y'all. It matters. Proverbs 18:21 states this: death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. All right? Okay, so we ate a little fruit. We spoke something and we ate the fruit thereof. We ate a little fruit. No big deal. Adam and Eve ate a little fruit. Huh. Was that a big deal? Huge. It was huge. All right. So they ate a little fruit and it changed everything, not just for them, but for you, for me, for all the generations to come. So the fruit that we are eating matters. How you speak to yourself matters. It matters. It matters. As we know it versus how it could have been. Literally from eating a little fruit. Okay? If you eat a little fruit of sin, right? A little shake of your integrity at work, maybe, and watch the complications arise. That never would have happened. The situations you get in. That all of a sudden everybody's going to know, I did this one little thing, I didn't think it'd be that bad, but all of a sudden it is. Now there's complications, and everybody's going to know that I altered my integrity. Your integrity is what you do when nobody knows. Okay? All of a sudden everything's in a, like you're living in a place of a house of cards. We don't want that. If you just don't eat the little fruit of the little bitty sin, nothing will escalate, nothing will grow. Therefore to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it is sin. James 4:17. Wherefore come out from among them and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing. Touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. So if you touch the unclean thing, you just eat a little fruit of it. Will he still receive you? Okay. So these phrases that you hear, like your whole life, folks are saying them around you always. Society says them. Culture says them. Okay, here's some from ours. Oh, my head is killing me. Is it? Really? How's it doing that? You know, because you just spoke it. You just spoke it. You spoke it into the existence. Let there be light, God said, and there was light. He's the very one that taught us by example the power of our words. And did Jesus not say, greater things shall you do? Does it not say, have the mind of Christ? Does it not talk about the power of this gospel? It definitely talks about the power of the tongue, death or life. For real, y'all. For real. All right? When I voice it, I'm clumsy. I am so clumsy. Stop saying that. Maybe you'll stop walking into walls. Just being real. Just being real. Oh, and then the things under our breath. You do something, you realize what you did. Maybe it was something careless, whatever. Stupid. Really? I wouldn't call anyone else stupid, and certainly not in that tone of voice. Why on earth am I calling myself that? Why am I saying that to me in that tone of voice? Unacceptable. 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 How about the folks that you hear saying, I can't carry a tune in a bucket? Who knows what you can do if you just try? Do you sing in the shower? Do you sing in the car when nobody's around? Maybe you can sing amazing, but you just think you can't because maybe somebody else said something to you that was probably false. But you grabbed a hold of it and you believed it. Power of words. Power of words. Death or life. Could have been death to your calling right then. Maybe you were supposed to be a singer, a worshiper, a leader in some way in that field, and somebody just killed it because the devil found a way in to do it. He comes to steal, kill, and to destroy. And that counts our purpose and our calling and our talents and our gifts. I'll never be able to lose the weight. No, you won't, because you don't believe you can, right? We're not going on past experiences. They're a liar. They're what was. They are not what is necessarily, or even what is to come. But see, we're created in His image. He who was and is to come. We are to have the mind of Christ. And power. You are not powerless in any way. Okay, let me just give you a silly little story here. My mother, and I'm just being honest about the power of words. And they don't have to be your own words, but I'm telling you the power of what they are. My mother, when I was born, and I've heard this story over and over and over, was just appalled that my toes were so long, in her opinion. And she was like, oh my gosh, this child has fingers for toes. Well, good thing is she can wear socks to cover them. Telling me that story, what do you think that does to me? Well, it made me embarrassed. It made me self-conscious of my shoe size even. Oh, I've got long feet. My feet are ugly. Oh my goodness. You know, and so you can't even be you because of something that's been spoken over you. Well, then let me fast forward many years. We're talking decades later, and another woman spoke over me, spoke into me, spoke to me, and her words also held power. I was standing there in a pair of flip-flops, and she looked at me and she said, well, she really didn't. She was looking at my toes. She goes, you have got what word did she use? Elegant. She said, you have got the most elegant, beautiful toes. And you know, she had short toes. So my long toes, you've got the most elegant, beautiful toes. You know, that broke the chain of what else had been spoken over me. And I was no longer embarrassed of my feet. And of course I was wearing flip-flops anyway, but I was always conscious of it. Well, I don't have to be, because I never thought my feet were ugly. I always thought I had pretty feet and pretty toes. So don't let anyone else's words overshadow the truth. Let's put it that way, because it's the truth. Okay? I do have elegant, beautiful toes. God created them for me. You can't get better than that. You can't get better than that. I don't care what anybody thinks.
Oh, hi there. Hey, do you have your coffee yet? Flower chop. Available on Amazon.
The other day, something went wrong on my app at work that I use for work. Hindered me a little, and I couldn't get done what I was trying to do. And then I figured out what I had done or not done within the app that caused the problem. I was like, oh, I'm not very smart. But that's a lie. I am smart. Okay, so I made a mistake in the app. Forgot to click a button, so the rest wouldn't work. But why would I think I wasn't smart? Why would I speak that to myself? I'm not very smart. Why would I say that when I know that's not true? There's lots of things I can do. The other day, I was boiling water in a tea kettle. I'm just telling you, these things are ingrained in us. And we've got to realize what we're doing, realize what we're saying, and stop it. I was boiling water in the tea kettle, and I forgot to flip down the lid. So I was like, why is this not boiling? And it's been cooking and cooking and cooking and cooking, and never went off. I never heard the whistle. And I walked in there, and I had that lid popped up, so of course it never whistled. I was like, I can't even boil water. That is not true. Why would that statement even come out of me? Why are we so hard on ourselves? Why are we so harsh to judge ourselves so much more deeply, more harshly, more than anyone else? I would never look at someone and say, you can't even boil water, or you're not very smart. Oh my goodness, I would never do that to someone. Why do I do it to me? And it's not true. I can boil water. I do know how. I can cook all kinds of things. I can bake. I don't really get complaints. Maybe they're just being nice. No, they're not. No, see, that's a lie too. I love to cook. And and it's tasty. I do good. I make stuff up. It's fun. It's a gift that God has given me. And I like it. I like to host events and dinners and do things like that and let people visit over a meal. Excuse me. Oh, I need a nap. But anyway, I love to do that stuff. Why on earth would I say I can't even boil water? Not true. Not true, not true, not true. And it's a learned response to something happening. We need to unlearn it. I need to unlearn it. That is not an okay. We need an okay thing. We need to question everything. I'm at that place. I am literally at that place in life. All the things that we've been told, all the things we see on the news, all the things that were in the books at school, especially your history books, question everything. Do the research. I'm just saying there's some pretty major events that I now question. Unlearn these behaviors of how you talk to yourself. Stop and think, why would you say that? Who did you hear talking like that? Was it right? Was it wrong? Is it helpful to you? Is it edifying? Is it lifting you up? Would you tell somebody else that? Probably not. Create a new, kind, loving way to treat yourself, to speak to yourself like you would others. And if you don't speak that way to others, start. But definitely start treating yourself that way. Start speaking life into you. Not death, not curses, not bad stuff, okay? How you speak to yourself matters. It matters. You matter.
Hey, I just want to let you know I've got this extra study tool that you might want to get your hands on. Of course, read your Bible, stay in the Word. You're doing that, right? But I've got this where you can take some notes as you're doing it, whether it be a sermon that you heard in the pulpit, or whether you're listening to a podcast, or whether you're just studying on your own. This lets you take notes. There's little areas like scriptures that were used today, what really spoke to me in this situation, questions that you have, scriptures that you want to look at further, things you need to remember, and then just other thoughts and notes and places for extra notes and things like that. But it's a great tool to just keep with your Bible all the time. Keep that Bible with you. But if you're interested in this, Amazon.com, I'll put a link in here. It's on my author page. Get you one.